Just as a disclaimer, we want you to know that some of the movies that we will be reviewing were shot in a different time and era where people of race and sex were not treated equally. We understand this and hope you do too. The movies or anything that happened on the sets are not the views of this podcast or what this show is intended to be all about.
Exactly. And we want to give due diligence in presenting the movie and not the views of the cast or directors or anyone involved. But we also feel it's necessary to let the audience know some of the background information to get a feel for what was happening at the time of shooting the film. Again, we hope you understand that we do not agree with everything that went on, and we just want to give out the information. And with that being said, hope you enjoy the show.
It was a different time. It was a time of destiny. A time when a child could tip the balance between good and evil.
Why, with my powers, with the strength of my great army, can you not find one little child?
A time for an unlikely hero named Willow.
Tell her I'm not gonna let anything happen to the baby.
We gotta get that baby to somebody.
I'm somebody.
A time of scoundrels.
What goes on here?
Uh-oh.
And a time of rebels.
You are great.
After them!
You're gonna get us killed. You're a great warrior and a swordsman. And you're 10 times bigger than I am, stupid!
Find the child! Find the child!
It was a time when courage could be found where you'd least expect it. A time when unearthly powers raged and good men risked their lives. A time of great adventure. From the creator of Star Wars and the director of Cocoon, Willow.
Welcome to episode 17 of the Tragedy of Cinema podcast. I'm your host, Jimbo, and my co-host, as usual, is...
Terrence. Hello.
Looking a little tired today, Terrence. That heat has been wearing us out, man. Last week, I thought I was melting like the Wicked Witch of the West. I mean, it was terrible.
Oh, man, yeah. It was like 85 degrees at night in the warehouse.
Right.
I was just dying.
Yeah, it was like 135 where I work inside, so... Yeah, they gave us 2 free Gatorades. Whoop-de-doo. That was gone in the first hour.
Gatorade.
So I put out on social media that if somebody could guess what movie I was doing, because it was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And David Martin, you were closest, but you already had one guess. But yes, it is the famous Willow. So I'm sure you told your wife and she guessed it.
Yeah.
So yes, it is Willow. It is one of my absolute favorite movies. It brings me back to a kid. It's just the whole fantasy.
It's very whimsical.
It's awesome. Yeah. Ron Howard directed it. It's really good. But before we get into that, because there's a lot of stuff to talk about, Terrence, the question of the day. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Terrence, would you rather be brownie size, as in this movie, real little, or would you rather be giant size, like Andre the Giant? If you had to choose one.
If I had to choose one, honestly, like giant size, just because I've always been a workhorse anyway. So I just be a giant workhorse and pretty much live life like I do already.
All right, and we're We're recording this on July 25th. So a couple dates in history. July 25th, 1946, at Club 500 in Atlantic City, New Jersey, Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis staged their first show as a comedy duo.
Huh, Club 500. That's that, like, super exclusive place, isn't it?
That I don't know. I didn't look that up.
I might be thinking of a different place, but I think it might be.
July 25th, 1987. Are you ready for this one?
Do it.
Sherry Martel beats the Fabulous Moolah for the women's championship belt.
The Fabulous Moolah.
She was a great wrestler. And also having birthdays today, the late, great Estelle Getty from Golden Girls fame. She died in 2008. And Matt LeBlanc from Friends fame which was Joey, is 52.
Oh, wow.
52. Man, we're getting old. So, with that being said, we're going to jump right into this, Terrence. Let's take it away.
All right. Willow. Release date, July 20th, 1988. Budget, $35 million estimated. After conversion, $75.7 million. Gross USA. 57 million estimated and 123.4 million after conversion. This was directed by Ron Howard, written by George Lucas. Bob Dolman also was one of the. Bob Dolman wrote the screenplay. George Lucas wrote the story. Technical aspects, we're looking at a runtime of 2 hours and 6 minutes. Is 126 minutes. Sound mix is 70 millimeter 6-track. That's 70 millimeter prints. Dolby 35 millimeter prints. Color movie, aspect ratio 2.20 by 1, that's 70 millimeter prints, and 2.39 by 1. So we're probably looking at theatrical and then maybe VHS for the two different aspect ratios. The camera Panavision, Panaflex Gold, Panavision C Series, and Cooke lenses. And a fun fact about Cooke lenses is it started off as a telescope company, and then they moved on to lenses after they got bought out by like 3 different people. As a very interesting, deep history, that would be its own podcast on its own if I went into it. Laboratory, Deluxe Hollywood, California, USA Prints. Rank Film Laboratories, UK, Denham. Interesting. Film length, 3,448 meters, Sweden. Negative format, 35 millimeter, also horizontal, Eastman. Cinematographic process, Panavision, anamorphic. VistaVision, visual effects. Printed film format, 35 millimeter, Eastman, 5384. 70 millimeter, blow up, Eastman, 5384. And now, off to the awards.
Dun, 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 dun.
Academy Awards, USA 1989. Oscar nominee Oscar. Best Effects, Sound Effects Editing by Ben Burt and Richard Hims. Nominee Oscar. Best Effects, Visual Effects, Dennis Murin, Michael J. McAllister, Phil Tippett, and Christopher Evans. Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, USA 1990. Winner, Saturn Award, Best Costumes, Barbara Lane. Nominee, Saturn Award, Best Fantasy Film. Nominee, Saturn Award, Best Supporting Actress, Jean Marsh. Nominee, Saturn Award, Best Performance by a Younger Actor, Warwick Davis. Nominee, Saturn Award, Best Special Effects, John Richardson, Industrial Light and Magic, ILM. Hugo Awards, 1989. Nominee Hugo. Best Dramatic Presentation, Ron Howard, Director, and Bob Dolman, Screenplay, George Lucas, Screenplay. Razzie Awards.
The Razzles are coming back.
Yep. 1989. Nominee Razzie Award. Worst Supporting Actor, Billy Barty. Worst Screenplay, Bob Dolman and George Lucas. And then off to the last one, which is Young Artist Awards, 1989. Young Artist Award, Best Family Motion Picture Drama. Best Young Actor in Motion Picture Drama, Warwick Davis. Now, it's interesting to see them in both in runnings for Oscars and also in runnings for Razzies, because you don't see that really at all. No. So that's a feat all in itself.
I was like, I gotta leave this in there because I was like, I can't believe this. So, yeah, it was very interesting.
And then finally, the synopsis. A dwarf must protect a baby from being destroyed by an evil queen.
Short and simple. So let's go ahead and jump into the cast. This has a lot of famous people in it. Start off with Val Kilmer. Played Mad Mardigan. Man, loved him. Joanne Whaley played Sorsha. Warwick Davis, Willow Ufgood. Jean Marsh, Queen Bavmorda. Patricia Hayes, Finn Raziel. Billy Barty played the High Aldwin and also the Razzie winner for the worst supporting actress. Pat Roach, General Kell. Gavin O'Harley, Arik Thalbearer. David Steinberg, Migosh. Phil Fondacaro, Vonkar. Tony Cox, a Vonkar warrior. Robert Gillibrand, a Vonkar warrior. Mark Nothover, Burglecut. Kevin Pollock played Rule, and Rick Overton played Frangine. Man, them two, they put on a performance in this. So I wanted to go ahead and throw this out there. I want to do the biography of Warwick Davis because I think he is an outstanding actor. He was born February 3rd in 1970 in Epsom, Surrey, England. He stands only 3 foot 6 inches. He landed his role for Return of the Jedi after his grandmother heard a radio commercial looking for people under 4 foot tall. Davis was 11 years old at that time, only 2 foot and 11 inches, and a huge Star Wars fan. He received the part as an extra, and it wasn't until Kenny Baker, R2-D2, became ill that he was picked up by George Lucas to play the role of Wicket the Ewok.
Yep.
Some of his most famous roles are in the movies Willow, Return of the Jedi, Leprechaun, Harry Potter, and Prince Caspian and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader. He also plays in numerous Star Wars.
Harry Potter.
Yeah. He's also the director of Willow Management along with his father-in-law for people who are either very short or very tall. He met his wife on the set of Willow where she was an extra. He owned a line of Star Wars action figures as a kid. When he was cast in Return of the Jedi, Mark Hamill bought Warwick a set of action figures that wasn't in his collection.
That's amazing.
How awesome is Mark Hamill for doing that? And I found this personal quote. I love the slapstick element. I don't think we see enough of that in comedy, so it was fun to have that opportunity. My life is quite physical anyway. When you are 3 foot 6, you kind of have to climb stuff now and again, and you find yourself in quite precarious situations just to manage in what a quite big world. And from a personal story, I actually met him at downtown. It was either Celebration 2, I think it was Celebration 2 or the Star Wars Celebration.
Okay.
And man, when I met him, I mean, he was just fantastic. You know, and I went up to him and I said, look, I said, you were okay in Star Wars. I was like, but Willow, I said, you knocked that out of the park. And he's like, well, thank you. He's like, I was like, has there been any talks about a sequel or anything? He's like, we have been discussing a sequel to this. He's like, it's been in talks for years. And that was Celebration 2 was a long time ago, about 10, 15 years ago now.
Yeah.
But it was really cool to meet him. You know, it was like one of those meeting one of your favorite actors. And I was just like, ugh.
Right?
So, yeah, it was fantastic. He's such a good guy. So, with that being said, we'll just go ahead and keep on trucking right on into the facts. The box office receipts were less than expected, so writer George Lucas continued Willow's story in books rather than in movie sequels. The 3 books are collectively known as The Chronicles of the Shadow War, and share a writer's credit for Chris Claremont and Lucas. They are Shadow Moon from 1995, Shadow Dawn from 1996, and Shadow Star from 2000.
So what I find interesting about this is that's actually a big trend for like fantasy and sci-fi movies alike. When they just kind of continue on through either books or comics.
But I didn't even know these were books. Movies. I would like to read these. This is one of my favorite movies. I got to know what happens. You know what I mean?
I mean, and it's always great when you find out. And it's always like you find out through like some other means, like us finding out on this podcast.
And now
like,
everybody else is finding out.
Exactly. So it's like, oh, hey,
I am
going to
get those. George Lucas specifically wrote this film for Warwick Davis after meeting him on the set of Star Wars Return of the Jedi in 1983.
That's awesome.
Warwick Davis was only 17 years old during the shooting of this film.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. According to Warwick Davis, the film had the largest ever casting call for little people at that time. Between 225 and 240 actors were hired for the film. Now, the only other movie I can think of that would have that many would be The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
But I don't know the exact numbers, so I'm going to trust Warwick on that one. This was the first feature film to use the morphing process developed by Industrial Light and Magic. Remember when she's transforming into the different animals? The Devil Dogs were actually Rottweilers in rubber masks and suits. The large group of pigs outside the castle continuously tried mating. Buckets of cold water were used to separate them.
It's hilarious.
Take a cold shower. As Val Kilmer was getting out of his crow cage between takes, the chain snapped and the cage came down on his foot. His resulting limp is evident during the scene in which Madmartigan and Willow arrive opposite Finn Raziel's island. Val Kilmer ad-libbed much of his dialogue, which I love when people do that and they keep it in the movie. According to the press kits and subsequent novels, the two-handed dragon was named Ebersisk, a reference to the movie critics Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert. The word does not occur in the film, but made it into some of the reviews. Val Kilmer has first billing instead of Warwick Davis. Writer and producer George Lucas felt that wasn't fair since Davis plays the title role and has the most screen time, which I agree.
No, absolutely, yeah.
Why do they do that though? You've seen that in something. It happens Superman, I think, when they had Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman, and then Christopher Reeve, I think.
It happens a lot, unfortunately, for like various, usually political reasons, right? They're like, oh, we don't think people will be on board with this, so we'll put somebody else on first billing. And that's the same when they make a poster. Sometimes you'll notice that the main protagonist might not be the center of attention on the poster. It'll be somebody else because they're trying to be like, well, maybe people won't be on board with the protagonist, so let's at least get him into the movie with somebody. It's super weird.
And speaking of Val Kilmer, I just seen a thing on Facebook as I was scrolling. I guess he was in New York because of the Top Gun 2 thing coming out.
Yeah.
But I guess he's been battling throat cancer, and he looked pretty wild, I ain't gonna lie. So keep your eyes out for Top Gun 2 coming soon.
I'm looking forward to that.
In preparation for the movie, Warwick Davis had to learn a modified accent, how to take care of a baby, how to ride a horse, how to sword fight, and how to perform magic.
Lots of different skill sets learned there.
Warwick Davis' future father-in-law, Peter Burrows, and his wife, Samantha Davis, appear as Newland villagers in this movie. Warwick Davis wore a wig for the movie. The long hair is not his own. You could not tell that.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say I couldn't tell at all.
John Cusack tested for the role of Madmartigan, but lost to Val Kilmer. He considered this his biggest disappointment.
That's pretty funny.
After meeting on the set of this film, Val Kilmer and Joanna Whaley were married, but later divorced. More information on the characters and their backstories can be found in the novelization. The 6-month-old twins playing Elora Danon were too young to have a full head of hair. They wear a wig, which was applied using syrup, as normal wig adhesive would be too harsh for the baby's skin.
Huh.
Blackroot is actually vanilla.
That makes sense.
Joanne Whaley accidentally struck her sword into a stuntman's foot while sticking the sword into the ground at the tavern.
Ouch. That's terrible.
This is why we do not let people play with sharp objects. During off hours from shooting, Kevin Pollak and Rick Overton hit up a bar in San Rafael, California, where they ended up performing improv. One of the audience members noticed and proceeded to get up on stage and participate. That person was Robin Williams.
That's amazing.
Pollak, already a fan of Williams, said he ended up stepping back just to watch Williams perform.
I mean, I would too.
Yeah. A 13-pound animatronics baby capable of moving its head and opening its mouth was used for the action scenes. This baby weighed more than the actual baby, and a more flexible prop baby was used in scenes where Willow falls with it.
Yeah, I'd imagine like a mechanical baby would be dense.
Ron Howard's wife and Warwick Davis' sister both appear as extras atop the snowy mountaintop village. Because of slow production during filming, the babies outgrew the props and the baby carrier that Willow had on his back, so they needed a new baby quickly. The second assistant director, Jerry Toomey, recommended his newborn niece, Rebecca Behrman, although she was never credited. The scene where the baby is sick on Burgle Cut was not written in the script. Willow walked with a limp, which gave Rebecca motion sickness. When she was lifted up, she threw up over his head, and it was so funny that they kept it in the film.
Oh, man.
I think that sheer look of terror on his face when it happened, he's like,
Right.
James Horner's score was frequently used in theatrical trailers in the 80s and 90s, carrying a $10,000 licensing fee from MGM and Lucasfilm.
Oh, wow.
During the close-up shots of the scene where Madmartigan and the soldier are being dragged behind the wagon, Val Kilmer was kneeling on a pedestal behind the wagon, while his stunt double was dragged behind, letting the stuntman's leg take the beating. Wow. The character of the evil General Kell is said to have been named after film critic Pauline Kael. George Lucas had hoped that the film would earn as much as E.T. the Extraterrestrial from 1982, but it faced early competition with, check out these movies, Crocodile Dundee, Big, and Rambo 3. It was not a financial flop. With a strong international home video and television sales, it did make a profit.
Nice.
Warwick Davis smirked when Mark Northover, in character as Burglecut, sarcastically laughed at him in the scene in which Burglecut decides to abandon Willow at the crossroad with the group and go home. It was kept in the film. Kenny Baker of R2-D2 fame played a Newland musician, as did his longtime comedy partner Jack Purvis. Finn Razio's animal form is a common brush-tailed possum, aka Australian possum. So all our Australian listeners, you have an Australian possum in this film.
Australian possum.
Right. The original wand was a real piece of wood. Eventually they feared it could break and replaced it with several fiberglass props. There is a continuity error that involves the magic acorns Willow was given by the High Aldwin. During an interview with the Empire podcast, Warwick Davis explains that in a scene near the end of the film, he throws a second acorn and it is inexplicably out of after having only used 2 of the 3 magic acorns he had been given earlier in this film. Included in the Blu-ray release is the cutscene in which Willow uses an acorn, his second, in a boat during a storm and actually turns the boat to stone. Davis said that his hair was wet in the next scene that did make it into the original version of the film, but the acorn is never referenced. And if you haven't watched the Blu-ray and watched the deleted scenes, there's a whole boat scene in there that's fantastic too, where he gets attacked in the water. It's really fantastic.
I think deleted scenes are fun in general.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes I wonder why they weren't left in the movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Various major film studios turned down the chance to distribute and co-finance it with Lucasfilm because they believed the fantasy genre was unsuccessful. This was largely due to films such as Dragon Slayer in 1981, Cruel in 1983, Legend in 1985, and Labyrinth in 1986.
Wow. Wait, but Labyrinth's a good movie.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, that didn't do too good, I don't think.
That's true. I mean, like, I guess it would fall into the category of cult classic.
Right.
For sure.
The Chinese government refused George Lucas the chance for a brief location shoot. He then sent a group of photographers to South China to photograph specific scenery, which was then used for background blue screen footage. So he's like, I'll get around this.
Right.
Here we go again with, how everything is all tied together in our podcast. The fact the main character, played by Warwick Davis, didn't get first billed is quite common. Christopher Reeve, despite being the title character in Superman and Superman 2, was built third after Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman in the original, and the second after Hackman in the sequel. Other main stars giving third billing include Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now after Brando and Robert Duvall, and his son Charlie Sheen in Platoon after Tom Berenger and William Dafoe.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But then I guess, when really up until now, I never really, gave a second thought to, when the listing of the billing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've noticed it a couple times. I was like, well,
yeah.
They're the main character. They're the title of the movie's their name, you know what I mean? Rick Overton and Kevin Pollak's scenes were done against blue screens on sound stages and were then added into the scenes with full-size characters and post-production. Ron Howard passed on directing Cocoon: The Return in 1988 to direct this film. The twins who played Baby Alora never acted again. Kate Greenfield studied forensic science at De Montfort University, and no one knows what happened to Ruth and what she went on to do. On his blog, Warwick Davis shared a picture in 2007 with a woman named Laura Hopkirk, who says that she played the baby for the scenes shot in New Zealand, but she is not credited online.
Huh. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's some list online nowadays where it's where are they now?
Yeah.
And it's 30 slideshow that's just this is what they're doing.
This baby was played by 14 different people. A scene was filmed but cut, which during the battle at Tir Aslan, Sorsha finds her father, whom has been turned to stone by Bavmorda, and Sorsha's father communicates with Sorsha and pleads with Sorsha to side with Willow and Madmartigan and help them protect Elora Danan and defeat Bavmorda. Hence, Sorsha betraying Bavmorda and succumbing to Madmartigan's affections for her.
You say that 5 times fast.
Sorsha, that's a name. But I like the name. David Steinberg, the actor playing Migosh, slammed into the side of an ice rink while ice skating during production and cut his eyebrow open. The stitches were concealed with makeup for the scene where Migosh makes his departure for home.
Oh, man.
Wow. Warwick Davis later worked again with Ron Howard on Solo, a Star Wars story in 2018. Warwick Davis played Wicket in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, as well as many other Star Wars characters throughout his career.
That's really interesting.
He even played, if you remember, episode 7.
Yeah.
Where Ray, he's the guy that has BB-8 trapped in the net on top of that mechanical thing. Yeah, that's him.
It's funny because I hear Solo and I'm like, I have weird feelings about Solo. Because like when I first watched it, I'm like, I like this movie, but I've only watched it once and I've had zero like need to watch it again.
Because it was so good. I think it was so good. I don't want to watch it again and ruin it for me because I pick it apart. You know what I mean? But I really enjoyed that.
I've watched everything else
because it tied in the cartoon series so well.
That's true. Yeah, I do like that they're tying that in.
Right. When Willow first meets Finn Razio, she is in the form of a brush-tailed possum. She subsequently becomes a raven, a goat, an ostrich, a peacock, a tortoise, and finally a tiger before Willow succeeds in returning her to her human shape. Julie Peters, Kaya Ufgood, was Truffle Hunter the Badger on the BBC version of Prince Caspian and the Voyage of the Dawn Treader in 1989, which also starred Warwick Davis as Nickabrick, the Queen's assistant. Kay and Ruth Greenfield's parents attended Val Kilmer and Joanne Whaley's wedding. On the official movie poster, the wind is blowing simultaneously both left and right, as evidenced by the character's hair. Willow gets called by Mad Mortigan, Sorsha, Bavmorda, and some other characters Peck. Peck is the racist word for the Nulwan. George Lucas initially visualized shooting the film in the way that he had shot Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, with studio scenes at Elstree and locations in Northern California. That ideal eventually faded, however, and some exteriors were done around Skywalker Ranch and on location in Warney Falls near Mount Shasta.
That's pretty cool.
Billy Bartley previously starred in another fantasy film, Masters of the Universe, in 1987 as Gwildor. So he was
That's amazing. Speaking of Masters of the Universe, did you see that picture online with Terry Crews?
Yes.
Oh, man, really? I love it. That's great.
In the scene when Willow and Mad Mortigan are in the cage on top of the mountain and Warwick Davis is wearing red boots, they are very same pair of red boots he wore as Reepicheep in Prince Caspian, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader in 1989. Although the film was released on VHS by Columbia Pictures Home Video in the 1980s, the film was released on DVD by 20th Century Fox in 2000s.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Gavin O'Harley played director Ron Howard's mysteriously vanishing older brother Chuck Cunningham on the first season of Happy Days. There was speculation that this film took place in the Star Wars universe. Although the film was Star Wars creator George Lucas, the film does not take place in the same universe as Star Wars.
You heard it here first.
No, watch. There'll be like some distant planet you'll find. Queen Bavmorda is a similar role to Gene Marsh's role in Return to Oz in 1985 and Doctor Who Battlefield Part 1 in 1989. Xena, Warrior Princess, Cradle of the Hope episode, bears a similar plot to Willow. In that episode of Xena and Gabriella find a newborn baby in a basket on a river, and they become the baby's protectors when they learn that the baby was prophesied to sit on the throne of King Gregor, and the king's advisor, Nemos, who secretly plots to overthrow the king, sets out to prevent the prophecy from being fulfilled.
It's pretty awesome.
All I got to say about that is,
I'm sad that it's not mentioned as much as it should be.
What, Xena?
Yeah.
Hercules was great, too. Its predecessors.
That's where she came from. Yeah, right. She came from Hercules. Like, I barely watched Hercules, but I love Xena. I watched a lot of Xena.
According to the prophecy, Elora Danan would bring about Queen Bavmorda's downfall. Ron Tarr, who played Lug, also played one of Jabba the Hutt's henchmen in George Lucas' film Star Wars A New Hope. He can be seen standing in the back of the cantina and accompanying Jabba in Docking Bay 94. Warwick Davis is only 12 years older than Dawn Downing, who played his daughter, and only 10 years older than Mark Vanderbrack, who played his son. General Kell's death was edited in the UK version.
Yeah, that makes. I mean, there's always some kind of editing when you go.
And now on to some of the movie mistakes. When the brownies kidnap Willow and tie him up and ask, "Where did you get that baby?" but the movement of his lips doesn't match what he's saying. That's one of my favorite parts of this movie is when he wakes up or he sits her down and he goes to use the restroom and wakes up, he can't find her or whatever, he can't find the baby. Yeah. You see that one brownie flying on that bird with the baby, and he's like, "I stole the baby while you was taking a pee-pee." flying around. I love it. When Willow gives Elora to Mad Mortigan, what is heard is, "Goodbye, little one." When originally he said, "Goodbye, Elora," it was after this scene was shot that the people realized that Willow didn't even know her name at this point. The animal that Madmartigan calls a muskrat looks nothing like a muskrat. Upon Willow's grand return to his village, his wife Kaya can be seen in the crowd waiting to greet him. Later on in the scene, she's surprised by her husband and runs to him. While hanging in the cage, Madmartigan's hand goes from fiddling with the chain on the side to gripping the front bars between shots. Before the journey to return the Daikini baby, Willow is seen with a papoose on his back, then off, and then he puts it on again. Madmartigan has his legs hanging out of the cage. In the scene directly following it, he has his legs in the cage and crossed. When Finn Raziel shows Bavmorda that she has Charlandria's wand, her clothes, hair, and skin are completely wet. In the next shot, she is now totally dry. When Willow says goodbye to Allura at the crossroads, the papoose disappears from Madmartigan's shoulder in one shot, evidenced by the white woolen strap not being present. When Finn Raziel, as a goat, butts a soldier off the bridge, the hands of the goat wrangler can be seen guiding the goat to its target. Just after Willow's wagon goes over the fallen tree during the car chase, one of the horses steps on the tree and leaving an imprint showing that it is made of foam.
That's funny.
While sliding down the hill on a shield, runners are visible from the sled that was used. You can see the wire supporting Madmartigan when he is on the catapult outside the castle. While sliding down the snowy hill on the sled, a very modern glove can be spotted on Madmartigan's left hand. There's obviously stunt doubles and all in some shots during the sled scene. Just before arriving at the castle of Tir Aslian Raziel in the shape of a rook, which is a blackbird, warns Willow of the approaching soldiers. A rock is briefly seen flying across the stream, aimed at the bird to get it to fly away on cue.
Oh, man.
After the cart chase, when Madmartigan and Willow get off the cart and with the two back wheels missing, the rubber stunt wheel used to allow the cart to roll is visible in the center of the axle as it moves away from the actors. While at Tir Aslan, Allura Dana is taken from Willow by Kel, who gallops off with the baby in his arms. As we see him quickly making his way through Eric's army, he is holding no baby. Just before the village scene fades out during the end credits, the villagers milling around in the distance disappear. Who says it doesn't take place in the Star Wars universe? They use the Force.
I was getting ready to say, when it comes to that, you might say that, but every now and then he'll get some kind of cross reference that'll make somebody go, "Oh, they're in the same universe."
Right.
Like E.T. in episode 2, where you saw little E.T. aliens in the court scene.
For what?
Star Wars. In E.T.
They were in the Senate.
Yeah,
on
they
the
were
little
in the
pod,
Senate.
right?
And they were in the little
Even
pod,
back, if you go back to watch E.T., he's playing with Star Wars action figures. He's got them all on his shelf.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to do E.T. That's a good one. A couple of scenes that were not in the main movie. Willow's hair is wet when he returns from the island. In a deleted scene, Willow was caught in a massive storm and went underwater. While we do not see this in the main movie, we can infer that it happened nonetheless. Scratches inexplicably appear on Finn Raziel's face after the battle. In a deleted scene, her face was scratched up in the battle with Bavmorda. While we do not see this in the film, we can assume it's already there. And lastly, during the fight in the castle at the end, Bavmorda's magic turns a clear day into an overcast storm. However, in a few brief shots of the sky during the fight between Madmartigan and General Kell, the sky is blue and clear with a few white puffy clouds. So, Terrence, take it away. What do you think?
It's okay. So, great movie, obviously, right?
Fantastic movie. One of my
very
favorites.
whimsical, high fantasy. If that's your bag, then 100% watch it. That would also be a sort of the maybe flags for some people to maybe not get into it. Since it is high fantasy, I know some people are really not into it, and it is a long movie. So if you're not into high fantasy, whimsicalness, then it might not be your cup of tea. But I love fantasy. I love whimsical movies and stuff like that.
I love Warwick Davis.
And yeah, Warwick Davis he's an incredible actor. He's a very talented dude. And so I'd say give it a try if you're not into fantasy and whimsicalness. But if you are, this is a 100% watch.
Oh, yeah.
And for your kids, too, right?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah.
So if not for yourself, watch it for your kids.
I remember as a kid, man, there's the scene where she's at, Bavmorda's at the castle, and she started, Willow's in the tent or whatever, trying to change the lady back or whatever with his wand, and he comes out, and you see Val Kilmer and Saoirse, they come up, and she's turning them all to pigs, his fangs are coming out.
Yeah.
But that being said, if they ever remade this movie, the stuff that they could do with special effects, like when they fight, they kick off that troll into the water and he comes up as a big two-headed thing. I mean, you can tell that some of the animation and stuff, they did what the best they could at the time.
Yeah.
And I love it, and I loved it then. But what they could do now, it would be so over the top and amazing. I don't like it when they touch my classics, because this is one of my favorites, and they'll ruin it. Just like, Transformers, G.I. Joe. Do I need to go
I think
on?
those are all... They should have picked a better director, in my own personal opinion, without diving into it. Like,
what, the Transformers and all of them, or this?
Both Transformers and G.I.
Oh,
Joe.
Yeah. I mean, I like some of the casting.
Like, in the right hands, I think what happens a lot of the times is they really don't think about who they're handing this over to. Like, I know that there are directors and there are people who will give the care to some of these, shows and cartoons and whatever that would give it the care it needs, but they don't hand it to those people, and they're just thinking about the dollar sign sometimes.
Right. And I think if they gave it to a true fan of that movie, when they let's say Ron Howard, if they gave this back to Ron Howard now to maybe change some stuff, or even George Lucas to what they wanted to do the first time around, but it just wasn't possible to do it then, with the deleted scenes and all that.
Yeah.
Or even somebody that grew up watching it and loved the movie, they could change the movie in a way that would still be true to the movie and not change anything about it, right? So this is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's probably in my top 5, definitely top 10 movies of all time, just because I love it to pieces. And it helps that I've met some of the actors. I even met, I met the, if you remember at the end where what was his name? The mayor of this town. Willow releases a bird in the air, and everybody's looking up, and it poops right on the guy's face.
Yep.
I met him at Celebration 2. He was there. He was actually one of the Jawas that carried R2-D2.
Oh, okay.
So I got his autograph too. So I was like, man, I'm a big fan of yours. Because of Willow. I was like, oh, this is great. So yeah, definitely give it a watch if you haven't. For our next episode, I'm going to go ahead and throw this out here right now. It is a fan pick. It is one that somebody has been waiting a long time. It is one that somebody has sent me memes, whatever you call them, questions and sad faces and rolling eyes and everything. We will be doing, for Samuel Farrell, we will be doing The Godfather. So, Samuel, it's coming. It'll be the next time we record. It probably won't be till next week because of work schedule and everything, but that will probably be the next one. Also, I have a couple of people coming in. We will be doing a Real Talk too. It's going to be on Chick Flicks. I can't believe I said that. With my sister and her best friend, and Lori's my friend too. So Lori and Becca will be sitting in with us to do Real Talk too, and we're going to be doing a chick flick. They're trying to decide what movie they want to do, so stay tuned for that. Also, join our online Facebook group. That's the Tragedy of Cinema podcast group on Facebook. And when you do, we are going to be doing a Facebook Live. We're still trying to pick out the date. It will be a Saturday night. I do know this, and it'll probably be from like 10 to 11 or 10:30 to 11:30.
And we'll try to pick it ahead of time so we can get max participation.
Definitely. And don't worry if that doesn't work. That time doesn't work for you. We will be doing probably the next month. We will be doing one, maybe a morning show through the week or something. So that way, if you work second shift or third shift, you'll be able to join in where maybe some other people wouldn't. And kids going back to school, maybe So. Look for that. Make sure you go back and listen to all of our episodes, because me and Terrence are going to scour through there and find some really obscure questions from the podcast, and we will be giving prizes away. I've been talking to Terrence about some prizes, and there's some pretty cool prizes, so you won't want to miss that.
It's going to be really fun.
Terrence, where can they find us at?
You can find us on Facebook. You can also find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google, and pretty
Stitcher.
much Stitcher, and then the abundant amount of podcast apps and programs.
I was really shocked to find this on Himalaya. I was like, wow, I didn't even know it was on here.
Well, that's the thing, is like a lot of the other the smaller podcasting apps and whatnot, they pull from the bigger ones. So if you upload it to Google iTunes, like Spotify, they're going to pull from all those, particularly iTunes. I know a lot of them pull from iTunes.
Yep. So, Terrence, you got any famous last words?
What does this button do?
So, I have notes done for a couple of movies. Terrence isn't a big sports fan, so I got somebody coming in to do a movie called Hoosiers. I'm surprised Terrence hasn't seen it since he lives in Indiana now, so he's technically a Hoosier. But it is definitely a great movie. We've got Star Trek: First Contact coming up. We've got The Phantom of the Opera, the silent version, coming up. We've got The Godfather, like I said, and I got a couple other ones planned. So stay tuned. There's a lot more coming.
It'll be exciting.
Yep. And by the way, we originally planned to do this podcast every 2 weeks, so I know this is the second week since we haven't released one, but sometimes we do 3 a week. It just depends on what our schedules are, so we didn't want you guys to think that we're slacking or anything. It just takes time, a lot of time.
Yeah.
Also, be on the lookout. I'm going to post it on the Facebook page. I'm going to set up Patreon. I've already started it, but we're going to have like any amount you want to give, $1, $5, $10, 6,000, whatever a month, whatever you want to do. That just goes to help pay for this because it's not free to do this. We do put some money into it and some time. And Terrence knows my laptop's about to go kaput.
Oh yeah,
he gets mad at my laptop.
It's an ancient laptop. Help this man. Help this man. So I think another thing that you guys could look forward to, as we push forward on like the Patreon and if we get enough funding, and that's upgrading our audio equipment so it's easier to have guests on and we're not all huddled around one mic.
Well, that, and also if you've listened to Real Talk, we're going to be doing the second one with my sister and her friend. We are going to probably put that on Patreon only content, just because I think that's something that some people look forward to, and it gives the people that donate a little more time. And also, if you're a Patreon supporter, you will get first dibs of selecting a movie that we review. Probably once a month.
Yeah.
We'll select, okay, here's so and so. It depends on how you sign up.
And then we'll give you guys shout outs too.
Right,
and
then it might even bring you on the episode. I'm going to be testing some stuff out here in a second, so to see about the guests and all that. So, well, with that being said, I think this episode is coming to a close. I think it's a wrap.
It is a wrap.
And cut.